Hello, I'm Dan Sigmund, and I am coming to you again as a supervisor from District 10, that is the town of Rubicon, village of Neosho. We're going to talk now about the 2026 proposed budget again, but in a different light. We're going to show you why I believe that the highway department has really created a challenge here for our budget making process. And it's not the first time. It's been ongoing for a few years that I've been there already, but I'm calling it out now because it's not getting any better. I went on the highway department's purpose statement. I found it on page 67 of the 2026 proposed budget book. And you can find it there too. The mission of the Dodge County Highway Department is, now see if you think they've been fulfilling this mission, to provide a safe, dependable, cost-efficient county highway system. How you like that? They are just unbelievable, aren't they? Well, how are they accomplishing providing a safe, dependable, cost-efficient county highway system? Well, when I look at it, first off, they budget for new equipment and they buy it because that's going to help them make that happen, right? Then they budget for wages and benefits because that's going to put drivers and people in those pieces of equipment. And then they run out of money. And then they ask if they can borrow some to do the roads. And I go, what's wrong with this picture? If the priority number one of a highway department is to take care of highways, wouldn't you think that you budget for highway repair first? Kind of crazy, huh? Well, what if you had a child and you gave that child $100 to buy a new pair of shoes? And when that child went out to buy a pair of shoes, he couldn't walk past the toy store without buying a fancy toy. And then, when he went to get the shoes, he didn't have enough money to buy the shoes. So then he comes back to Dad and Mom and say, Dad, Mom, I need some more money to buy shoes. He had enough, but he decided to spend it on himself instead. Well, the highway department management, and I'm not saying it's the workers, they do good work. And it's easy to do good work if you have all this shiny paint too, right? But you know what? Old paint works just as good. Because they have mechanics that keep the old paint running. Well, they don't have to because it's always new. But you can do it. So the highway department manager, I believe, spends irresponsibly because they spend on what they shouldn't spend it on first. And then they don't have enough money left to do what they're supposed to do. And then they come back and want more money. They fail to fix the roads. And they claim it's not their fault. Well, the management's bad spending habits are costing you more money because they're buying things they wouldn't have to buy. Wouldn't we all like to always say, well, what do I think I need? Yeah, that's probably getting to the end of its useful life. We're going to buy a new one. Just put it in your budget. And I was told that you have this capital improvement plan, and you, as a department, are instructed to put on each year, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, what you expect you need to purchase in those years so we can plan ahead. Well, it was kind of a running joke at one of the highway committee meetings one time where they just throw everything on the next year's capital improvement plan so that they can kind of go eeny, meeny, miny, mo and pick what they need and they don't have to think ahead. Is it true? Well, I trust this person who told me they wouldn't lie, but I can't verify it. But that's the kind of shenanigans that have been going on. And if you drive by the highway shops and look at their equipment, they're not doing too bad. But our roads are doing really bad. My road got fixed this year. It's 50 years old. But it was still working. Not very good at the end there. But this 22-year cycle of fixing roads is way too aggressive. We don't need to spend all that money fixing roads. If my road could last 50 years, why can't everybody's roads last half that? And if it's not used a lot, maybe more than that, and still be in fine condition. We've become too aggressive, and then we're trying to throw too much money at roads, and then they have to buy their equipment, and then there's no money left for all these roads they want to fix. We need some management that can really look at these numbers differently. And we have a chance to do that now, for our highway commissioner is retiring at the end of this month. Or no, November 9th, beginning of next month, I think. So I suggested to the county administrator a few weeks ago that the highway department needs to budget for roads first. These are the roads that really need to be fixed. Here's what we really need for them. That's in our budget, just like every other department budgets. The sheriff's, the human services department, every big expense is always budgeted, but not the highway. But this year they ran the business, you heard probably, if you watched my other video, they ran their business like a real business, like we have to out in the real world. And they ran out of money 2 months early. Help! Mom, Dad! We need to really take a close look at this. They're costing you more money than they should. So they should budget for roads every year because they're fixing roads every year. It's a line item that will always have something in it. They will, I would say, recommend repair fewer miles every year. They might have a little problem at first because they've neglected them so long. They have to maybe catch up all a little bit, but they can do it strategically. Back off on new. So, your child doesn't buy the shoes because it doesn't have money. What would happen if you would say, well, I guess you're going to have to wear that old pair a little longer, aren't you? That would teach them, right, to be a little more responsible with the money. What if we told our highway department, oh, you don't have enough money for roads? I guess you better stop buying all that equipment. You're just going to have to run that a little longer, right? Maybe that would help. Just saying. They could buy trucks that are ready to roll. Now they pay extra money. They pay 1 to 2 mechanics a whole year to work on a truck before we can even use it after they buy it. That's not making money. They build them the last 20 years, take them out of service 12 to 15 years later. Why are we doing this? And they running out of money? Do you actually have to wonder why? So let's find new management who knows how to run the business. Stop messing up the county budget. If you need it, put it in your budget. Then we have to pay for it, no interest. And if there's not enough money, well, we'll use our equipment maybe another year. That's how simple it can be. Come to the public hearing, October 30th, a Thursday night. Pretty sure on that date, but I know it's a Thursday night. 6 o'clock, administrative building, 4th floor. Let's hear what you think about the budget. Take a look on the county's website. It's there. Just click on and you can look at all 700 pages of it. Or you can look at the budget book, which is maybe 240. It's overwhelming. Sometimes I think it's intentional, but who am I to say? But take a look, see what you think, and come and let us know whether you think it should be more or less or this or that. We need people who care, and we need people to run for county board position to get more conversation about what's going on at the county level. So think about that too. But that's where I think the highway department could help us all make the budget process easier, because they're always hitting us for this debt tax levy so they can tax us to the max and more. Thanks for watching. We'll keep in touch.